There exists a hidden bridge between worlds that most people never learn to cross, a luminous pathway woven from the threads of prayer, love, and consciousness itself. Paramahansa Yogananda witnessed firsthand what unfolds in the invisible realms when sincere prayers reach those who have departed from this earthly plane. His revelations shatter the illusion of permanent separation and unveil a profound truth. The soul never truly dies, and the bonds of love transcend every boundary that mortality attempts to impose. The moment physical death occurs, the soul does not vanish into nothingness or slip beyond our reach forever. According to Yogananda's illuminating teachings, each departed being continues to exist in their astral body, a radiant form made of light and energy, carrying with them every memory, every unresolved longing, every pattern of consciousness formed during their earthly journey. These souls inhabit realms of gossamer luminosity, where thought becomes the language, where distance dissolves, and where your heartfelt intentions can reach them with astonishing precision. Yogananda revealed something that changes everything about how we understand grief and connection. When you send prayers saturated with love and spiritual strength to someone who has crossed over, those prayers become messengers of light piercing through the astral dimensions. They carry healing vibrations that help the departed soul release earthly attachments, rise above old karmic patterns, and advance more swiftly toward higher states of peace and freedom. The power is most potent in the hours and days immediately following death, yet it never truly fades. Your loving thoughts can continue to uplift and encourage souls even years after their departure. The Master taught a sacred practice that transforms mourning into spiritual service. By sitting in deep meditation, flooding your consciousness with divine peace, and then broadcasting your love from the center of will between your eyebrows, you create an unbreakable link with the one you miss. This is not superstition or wishful thinking, it is the science of consciousness that Yogananda demonstrated throughout his life. The departed receive these vibrations as tangible blessings, experiencing a profound sense of being cherished and remembered, feeling the encouragement that propels them forward on their eternal journey. Tonight you stand at the threshold of understanding one of life's most sacred mysteries. Yogananda saw beyond the veil of death and brought back knowledge that liberates both the living and the departed from the prison of separation. Every prayer you offer becomes a ray of light in realms where souls navigate their path toward ultimate freedom. This revelation awaits you, not as abstract philosophy, but as living truth that can transform how you honor, remember, and continue to love those who have journeyed beyond the physical world. There is a mysterious doorway every soul must cross, a passage shrouded in silence and longing, yet illuminated by a tapestry of prayers woven from the living. Yogananda taught that death is not an ending, but a transition into a subtler dimension where consciousness continues its eternal journey clothed in a luminous astral body. This body, composed of light and life energy, retains every memory, every emotion, every unresolved attachment from the earthly existence. The departed soul awakens in realms where thoughts become more powerful than physical actions ever were, where the atmosphere itself responds to intention, and where the prayers of those still on earth arrive as golden streams of healing force. What happens in those first moments after the physical heart stops beating? Yogananda revealed that the soul experiences a profound awakening, suddenly liberated from the dense prison of flesh, yet often confused by the unfamiliar landscape of the astral world. Some souls recognize their new state immediately and move with grace toward higher planes of existence. Others remain tethered to earthly memories, lingering near places they loved or people they cannot release. These are the souls who need your prayers most urgently, for they are caught between worlds, unable to fully embrace their spiritual freedom. The Master witnessed this phenomenon countless times throughout his life. He saw how departed souls hovered near their grieving families, drawn by unbreakable bonds of affection, desperate to communicate comfort, but lacking the means to bridge the dimensional gap. He observed souls trapped in confusion, replaying their final moments repeatedly, unable to comprehend that their physical form no longer existed. These beings suffer not from hellfire or divine punishment, but from the prison of their own unresolved consciousness, and your prayers hold the key to their liberation. This is where the true power of spiritual love manifests. When you sit in meditation and send forth waves of peace, saturated with divine consciousness to someone who has departed, those vibrations penetrate the astral dimensions with unerring accuracy. The departed soul receives them as a lifeline thrown across churning waters, as a voice calling them home through dense fog. Your prayer becomes the bridge they desperately need, the reminder that they are not forgotten, not abandoned, and not beyond the reach of transformation. This is not metaphor or poetic fancy. This is the living science of consciousness that Yogananda demonstrated and taught throughout his earthly mission. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this sacred exchange. Yogananda explained that the astral world operates on principles entirely different from physical reality. Distance as we understand it does not exist there. Time flows differently, more like a vast present moment where past and future blend into a continuous now. In this realm, your focused thought travels instantaneously to its intended recipient, carrying with it the full emotional and spiritual signature of your consciousness. If your mind is scattered and your emotions turbulent when you pray, the message arrives weakened and diffused. But when you pray from a state of deep inner peace, having first stilled your own mental chaos through meditation, your prayer becomes a concentrated beam of light piercing directly into the heart of the departed soul. The most powerful time to pray for the departed is immediately following death, within the first 3 days, when the soul is most receptive and most in need of guidance. During these critical hours, the newly departed being is adjusting to existence without a physical body, often experiencing disorientation or even denial about their state. They may attempt to communicate with loved ones, only to discover that their words go unheard and their touch goes unfelt. This realization can bring profound distress. Your prayers during this window become voices of sanity and comfort in their confusion, assuring them that consciousness continues, that love persists, and that their journey is not over, but simply entering a new chapter. Yet the window never truly closes. Even years after someone has departed, your heartfelt prayers can still reach them and offer benefit. Yogananda taught that souls in the astral realm continue to evolve, working through karmic patterns, releasing earthly attachments, and gradually ascending toward higher states of awareness. Those who died with heavy burdens of regret, fear, or attachment may remain in lower astral regions for extended periods, unable to rise until they learn the lessons they avoided during physical life. Your sustained prayers act as spiritual encouragement, like a loving hand extended from above, inviting them to release their burdens and ascend. Each prayer you offer adds momentum to their upward journey, helping them overcome the gravitational pull of old patterns and painful memories. Consider the profound responsibility this places upon those who remain in physical form. You are not helpless in the face of death. You are not permanently separated from those you love. Through the power of prayer rooted in meditation and divine attunement, you become an active participant in their continued spiritual evolution. The grief you feel can be transformed into spiritual service. The love that aches in your heart can become a force that liberates. This is the teaching Yogananda brought from the highest realms of consciousness, a teaching that returns power to the bereaved and dignity to the departed, revealing that the bonds of true love are indeed stronger than death. Let us now explore the specific practice Yogananda prescribed for this sacred work. He emphasized that effective prayer for the departed must begin with self-preparation. You cannot transmit peace to another soul if your own consciousness churns with anxiety, grief, or fear. Therefore, the first step is to sit in meditation and consciously draw divine calmness into your being. Close your eyes and withdraw your attention from the outer world. Focus at the point between your eyebrows, the seat of concentration and spiritual will. Breathe slowly and deeply, with each inhalation drawing in peace, with each exhalation releasing tension. Continue until you feel a tangible sense of inner stillness, not merely the absence of thought, but the presence of a living peace that permeates your awareness. From this centered state, bring to mind the person for whom you wish to pray. Do not focus on their death or the circumstances that surrounded it. Instead, visualize them as whole, radiant, and filled with light. See them not as a body in a coffin or an image from a photograph, but as a being of consciousness wrapped in luminous energy. If you struggle to visualize clearly, simply feel their presence as you remember them at their best. Their smile, their warmth, the essence of who they were beyond physical form. Hold this feeling awareness in your heart with tenderness and love. Now comes the transmission. With your consciousness still anchored in peace, imagine that peace flowing from the spiritual eye at your brow directly toward the departed soul. You may accompany this visualization with words, either spoken silently or aloud. May divine peace surround you. May divine light guide you upward. May you be free from all earthly attachments. May you know that you are loved, remembered, and blessed. But the words matter less than the quality of consciousness behind them. What truly travels across dimensions is not verbal content, but the vibrational frequency of your awareness, the peace, the love, the spiritual power you have cultivated through your own practice. Yogananda also taught a beautiful technique for those who wish to establish ongoing spiritual connection with departed loved ones. He suggested creating a regular practice, perhaps at the same time each day or week, where you sit in meditation specifically to send blessings to those who have crossed over. This consistency creates a kind of spiritual appointment. The departed soul begins to anticipate and attune to these moments, making the connection even stronger. Over time, you may begin to receive subtle intuitions or feelings during these sessions, perhaps a sense of gratitude or peace that clearly comes from beyond your own mind. These are not imaginations but genuine communications, though they arrive through feeling rather than words, through intuition rather than physical senses. What Yogananda revealed about the afterlife challenges many conventional religious teachings while simultaneously fulfilling their deepest promises. He taught that there is no eternal damnation, no punishment without end for those who lived imperfectly. The astral realm contains various planes corresponding to different states of consciousness, some luminous and blissful, others shadowy and restrictive, but all are temporary. Every soul, regardless of how deeply it may have fallen into ignorance or error during physical life, retains the potential for redemption and upward evolution. The hell that exists is not imposed by an angry deity, but created by the soul's own unresolved negativity, and it lasts only until the lessons are learned and the consciousness transformed. This understanding transforms prayer from desperate supplication to confident spiritual work. When you pray for someone who lived a difficult life or died in circumstances that suggest suffering, you are not begging an external God to override his judgment. Rather, you are channeling divine energy directly to that soul, adding your consciousness to the infinite consciousness of the divine, creating a combined force that accelerates the soul's natural healing process. Your prayer does not change cosmic law but works through it, just as a gardener does not change the laws of nature but uses them skillfully to help plants grow toward light. Yogananda also addressed a question that haunts many who pray for the departed. Can we truly know if our prayers are received and effective? He answered that faith must be balanced with inner attunement. In most cases, you will not receive dramatic signs or obvious confirmation. The work happens in dimensions beyond physical perception. Yet if you develop sensitivity through regular meditation, you may begin to notice subtle shifts. Perhaps a recurring dream of the departed person shows them at peace or moving toward light. Perhaps a heavy feeling of grief suddenly lifts, replaced by inexplicable certainty that your loved one is well. Perhaps synchronicities occur, meaningful coincidences that feel like messages. Trust these gentle signals while avoiding the trap of demanding proof. The greatest confirmation comes from an inner knowing that arises when your consciousness touches truth beyond logic. There is profound healing in this practice, not only for the departed but for those who remain. When you transform your grief into prayer, you reclaim spiritual power in the face of loss. Instead of remaining passive victims of death's cruelty, you become active agents of love and liberation. The helplessness that often accompanies bereavement dissolves when you realize that you can still serve, still help, still love across the boundaries of worlds. Yogananda saw this transformation countless times, bereaved individuals who discovered purpose and peace through the practice of praying for departed souls, their own consciousness elevated by the spiritual work they performed. In helping the departed ascend, you too ascend. In bringing them peace, you too find peace. This is the mysterious reciprocity of spiritual service. Let us conclude this development by addressing the larger vision Yogananda held regarding death, prayer, and the continuity of love. He taught that the ultimate goal of all spiritual practice is to realize the immortality of consciousness, to know through direct experience that you are not your body, not your thoughts, not your emotions, but the eternal soul that merely inhabits these temporary forms. Prayer for the departed becomes a training ground for this realization. Each time you sit to send blessings to someone beyond the physical plane, you practice extending your consciousness beyond physical limitations. You affirm through action your belief in life beyond death. You strengthen your own spiritual perception and prepare yourself for the transition you too will someday make. The Master also emphasized that prayer creates karmic merit of the highest order. When you pray for someone who can no longer benefit you in worldly ways, when you offer spiritual help to a soul who cannot repay you, you engage in the purest form of selfless service. This generates spiritual momentum that elevates your own consciousness and helps dissolve karmic debts. Moreover, the law of karma ensures that when your time comes to depart this physical plane, others will be inspired to pray for you. You plant seeds of compassion that will blossom into blessings when you most need them. This is cosmic justice in its most beautiful form. Love given becomes love received, help offered becomes help provided, across lifetimes and dimensions. Yogananda spoke often of the communion of saints, the reality that highly advanced souls who have left physical form continue to guide and assist humanity from higher planes. But this communion is not limited to recognized saints and masters. Every soul that evolves beyond the lower astral regions gains the capacity to serve as a beneficent presence for those still struggling in physical or lower astral existence. The person you pray for today may become a guardian presence for your own future journey. The love you send across the veil creates bonds of spiritual friendship that persist through countless incarnations. You are not merely helping an individual soul, but weaving yourself into a web of mutual support that spans the visible and invisible worlds. Finally, understand that this teaching about prayer for the departed is inseparable from the larger message Yogananda brought to the world, that all life is one, that separation is illusion, that love is the fundamental force of the universe, and that consciousness itself is immortal and divine. When you pray for someone who has died, you participate in a cosmic truth that nothing real can be threatened, that nothing unreal exists, and that the light of awareness can never be extinguished. Each prayer becomes a small victory over the illusion of death, a declaration that love persists, a testament to the eternal nature of the soul. This is the profound gift Yogananda offers to all who grieve, all who wonder, all who seek to love beyond the boundaries of mortality. You now stand at a crossroads between what you believed about death and what Yogananda revealed as truth. The veil has been lifted, and you have glimpsed a reality where love does not end when the heart stops beating, where consciousness continues its journey through luminous realms, and where your prayers become bridges spanning the chasm between worlds. This is not abstract philosophy meant to comfort the grieving. This is the lived experience of a master who walked between dimensions and returned with knowledge that shatters the illusion of permanent separation. Every moment you have spent absorbing this teaching has planted seeds of transformation within your consciousness, seeds that will blossom when you face your own encounters with mortality. The departed souls you love are not lost in some unreachable void. They exist in planes of light and energy, carrying every memory of the love you shared, still capable of receiving the vibrations you send through prayer and meditation. Yogananda did not speak from speculation but from direct perception. He saw these souls, communicated with them, witnessed their struggles and their liberation. When you sit in meditation tonight and send forth waves of divine peace towards someone who has crossed over, you participate in a cosmic reality that predates every religion yet fulfills the deepest promise of them all, that love is eternal, that consciousness cannot die, and that spiritual bonds transcend every limitation the physical world attempts to impose. Perhaps the most profound gift this teaching offers is the transformation of grief into power. You are no longer helpless before death's apparent cruelty. You possess the means to continue serving those you love, to actively participate in their spiritual evolution, to remain connected through the invisible threads of consciousness that weave through all existence. This practice does not erase the ache of absence or pretend that separation causes no pain, but it channels that pain into something sacred, something purposeful, something that elevates both the living and the departed. Your tears can become prayers. Your longing can become healing force. Your love can become the light that guides souls through the astral realms toward ultimate freedom. Yogananda's vision encompasses not just individual souls but the entire tapestry of existence. When you pray for the departed, you affirm your place in a universe where consciousness is primary, where love is the fundamental force, and where every act of compassion ripples outward through dimensions seen and unseen. You become a participant in the grand work of cosmic evolution, a channel through which divine energy flows to those who need it most. This is your birthright as a spiritual being, not to remain passive before the mysteries of death, but to engage them with the full power of awakened consciousness. The practice awaits you, the departed souls await your blessings, the transformation awaits your commitment. If this teaching has touched something deep within you, if you feel the truth resonating in chambers of your heart you did not know existed, then carry this message forward. Share this video with someone who grieves, someone who wonders, someone who needs to know that death is not the end, and love is not limited by physical boundaries. Subscribe to this channel to continue receiving wisdom that transforms how you understand existence itself. Leave a comment sharing who you will pray for tonight. Speaking their name into this space creates its own kind of blessing. Like this video as an affirmation that you choose to see beyond the veil, that you refuse to accept separation as final. Together we form a community of consciousness spanning worlds, united in the knowledge that Yogananda brought from the highest realms. We are eternal, we are connected, and love never dies.